Hey there, boys and girls. Let's welcome back our friend, Mr. Spider. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Neve, and thank you, boys and girls. Good to be back with you again. Mr. Spider, thank you so much for teaching us about spiders. They are fascinating creatures. Oh, I think so. And of course, they are not an insect. Spiders are part of that animal group called arachnids. Right. I do have another poster to show you before our nonfiction selection, Mrs. Neve. Perfect. Let's see it. Right down here. Ooh, this looks interesting. Up here at the top, it says spiders. And then in the yellow box, they have a diagram of a spider, and you can see the different parts. Of course, this front body part is called the cephalothorax, which is the head and chest joined together. It's like God took the head and the thorax from insects and just made it one part for the spider, and it's called the cephalothorax. Then we've got attached to the cephalothorax the legs, and there's 8 legs, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At the end of each leg, you can see a claw. Bring that a little closer. There's the claw. Of course, the eyes are on the cephalothorax. Let's count and see how many eyes this spider has. I can see 3 on this side, plus 3 over here. 3 plus 3 is 6, plus these 2 bigger ones. 6 plus 2 is 8, right? So this spider does have 8 eyes, like many spiders do. Now, we also have attached to our cephalothorax these 2 things here called the pedipalps. Now, the pedipalps are not legs. A lot of times kids and people will think, oh, this spider has 10 legs, what's going on here? Because they count the pedipalps. The pedipalps, they're not legs. They're not antennae either. Spiders don't have antennae. Think of them more like an arm that the spider uses to hold its prey when they eat their prey. So that's the pedipalp. And then these 2 things hanging down there with the sharp, looks like almost teeth at the end. Well, they're the fangs. These are the fangs that the spider would use, of course, to put into its prey. And we'll talk more about that in our nonfiction selection. All right, so that takes care of this part of the spider. Back here, of course, the larger body part is the abdomen, just like the insects have an abdomen. And on the abdomen, you've got the spinnerets, and that's the part where the spider spins its silk to make its webs, its drag lines, egg sacs, all that good stuff. So there you have the different parts of the spider. Now, this spider happens to be a jumping spider, which we read about yesterday. We've got some more spiders on this poster. We've got the orange garden spider, the comb-footed spider, the spiny-bodied spider. Oh, I think that one we saw that one yesterday on the poster. Black widow, water spider, tarantula, purseweb spider, probably named that because of the shape of the web that it weaves. It must look like a purseweb spider, and the wolf spider. So just some of those 35,000 different kinds of spiders in the world. Pretty cool, huh? Now, it's interesting. If you look at the background of this poster, you'll see a spider web, and this is the kind of spider web called an orb web. It's the one you usually think of when you see a spider web. Looks kind of like a wheel, but not all spiders spin webs like that. We saw that yesterday with the jumping spider. Remember, the jumping spider doesn't use its silk to weave a web. It uses it for other things, the egg sac, and also to sleep in and rest in, make drag lines. But it hunts its prey. It has to go after its prey. So, pretty interesting here. Thank you, Mr. Spider. I love this poster. Oh, you're welcome, Mrs. Neve. If you love the poster, you're going to love today's nonfiction selection. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, it's one of the more famous spiders, the black widow. Ooh, most people have heard of the black widow, so let's read. Absolutely, Mrs. Neve. I'll be a good listener over here. Thank you, Mr. Spider. Of course, it is his favorite subject, right? And here's a color word. You know that. Black widows. spiders. Here's our title page, Black Widow Spiders, from the Spiders Discovery Library, and the author is Jason Cooper. Oh, now if that name sounds familiar, Mr. Cooper was also the author of the book we read yesterday about jumping spiders. All right, we do have our table of contents here, which lists the different chapters and the pages where they're found. Of course, let's start at the beginning. Black Widow Spiders on page 5. Black Widow Spiders. The black widow spider is probably the most famous spider in America. It's also the most feared. The black widow is one of the few North American spiders whose bite can hurt humans. The bite of any widow spider is very painful. A widow bite is not likely to be life-threatening. That means it probably won't kill you. It probably won't threaten your life. But it should be treated immediately by a doctor. In fact, black widows and other spiders rarely bite anyone. Whew. Now that's good news. They hardly ever bite. It's only if they feel like somebody's attacking them or coming after them that they would bite to defend themselves. But if you leave them alone, they're going to leave you alone. Yeah. Okay. Now you'll notice something else they mentioned in here. It says the bite of any widow spider is very painful. So black widows aren't the only kind of widow spider. Let's find out more. Widow spiders are closely related to members of a larger spider family, the cobweb weavers. Cobweb weavers spin webs that look ragged compared to the webs of orb weavers, such as garden spiders. We were just talking about that on the poster. And it says, widows use webs to catch prey. They wrap the prey in silk threads. So this is a kind of widow. It is not a black widow, as you can see. And you can also see its web down here. It's not pretty like the orb webs that the orb weavers do, but it does the job. It looks kind of messy, but it will catch the insect. Predator and prey. Spiders are predators. They hunt and eat other animals, but they do so with different plans. Widows and orb weavers use web traps. The widow's web of tangled threads may not get style points from a human judge, but it works. It traps insect prey. Like other web-weaving spiders, widows probably have poor eyesight. They sense vibrations in their web, however. When a trapped insect wriggles, the widow hustles toward it. So although the sense of sight isn't good, the spider can feel when the web shakes, and that's what vibrations are, the shaking. And so they go over to the prey then. Okay, it says here we do have a black widow in this picture. A black widow has trapped its insect prey in silk. There you go. Can't tell exactly what kind of insect it's caught. I'm thinking some kind of beetle by the looks of it. Whoops, I think I got Yep, had a couple pages sticking together. The widow's bite with 2 fangs injects venom into the insect. Venom is poison. It might be an ant, moth, cricket, or fly. The venom paralyzes or kills. Meanwhile, the widow has quickly wrapped its prey in silk. Like most spiders, a widow brings up powerful juices from its gut, that would be its stomach, to mix with its victim's flesh. The digestive juices turn the prey's soft parts into liquid. The widow's tiny mouth sucks the porridge-like prey into its stomach. All that remains of the prey is a hard, hollow skin. So that's all that's left after the spider eats the prey, is the hard exoskeleton. Interesting. Spiders don't chew their food like we do or other animals. It's more like they drink their dinner. They suck out the juices. Fascinating. So they inject venom into the insect once that it's caught in the web, and that venom kills the prey, or it paralyzes. Paralyzed means it can't move. It makes it so that the insect can't move anymore. Then the spider quickly wraps silk around the prey to make sure it's all set there. And then the spider, it takes digestive juices, it basically spits into the bug, and that spit from the spider makes the soft parts of the insect all gooey and juicy, kind of soupy, like soup. And then the spider will just use its little mouth and suck up that juicy part. Doesn't have teeth, doesn't chew. Fascinating. Oh, and this picture, the caption says, "A black widow rushes to wrap up a trapped grasshopper." So they do tell us the insect in this picture. Wow. Where black widows live. 5 widow species live in North America, north of Mexico. So that would include the United States. So how many did they say? 5 widow species. They are the northern black widow, southern black widow, western black widow, red widow, and brown widow. Interesting. They all have color words in their name. Widows also live in South America, Africa, Asia, Australia, and Europe. So just about all over the world. In the United States, brown widows live in Florida and westward into the southern parts of the Gulf states. The brown widows must not like the cold weather. That's what I'm guessing. Hey, brown, B-R, br, special sound of the week, right? It says here, brown widows may be brown, gray, or even black. The red widow, and this is a red widow right here, the red widow has reddish legs and red and orange spots on its black abdomen. Yeah, it is quite beautiful, isn't it? And there you can see its web, too. Not real pretty looking. That web is messy looking. Hey, but it does the job, right? Widows rarely weave their cobwebs in a home. That's good news. Instead, they build webs in dark shelters, usually outdoors. Their webs may be under large rocks, logs, or in dirt tunnels. But they also turn up in old barns and outbuildings. This is a brown widow. It says the brown widow shown here with its egg sac is a southeastern species. So there's the brown widow. Yep, definitely brown. And this is the egg sac where this female brown widow has weaved with her silk a sac to put her eggs in to protect the eggs. Just fascinating. What black widows look like. Black widows are usually shiny black spiders with red or red and white markings. Females are larger than males, so the girls are bigger than the boys. Their bodies may be up to 1/2 inch long. So the body, and that doesn't include the legs, but you've got your body, your cephalothorax, and your abdomen right here, less than 1 inch long, 1/2 inch. So the body itself is quite small. It says the red hourglass on the underside of a black widow is well known. Male black widows often have white trim on their abdomen in addition to the red. So, way to tell if it's a boy, that would have white markings on the abdomen as well as the red. Spiders and other arachnids have 2 main body parts, the cephalothorax and the abdomen. The spider's head, mouth, stomach, and venom glands are in the cephalothorax. Its 8 legs are attached to the cephalothorax. For their size, widows have especially large, round abdomens. A widow's heart, lungs, and silk glands are among the organs in the abdomen. So the abdomen is large. So when you're making your Play-Doh spiders, if you're doing the black widow especially, you can give her a large abdomen. Same for other spider species too. Closer look at that black widow. The black widow's life cycle. A female black widow lays a mass of some 100 to 500 eggs. She wraps the eggs in a ball of silk, her egg sac. She attaches the egg sac to her web. Black widow spiderlings look like tiny adults except for their color. They may be black, white, or red striped. They usually grow into adults in 2 to 3 months. So take a look at the picture in this box right here. It says baby red widows emerge from their egg sac. This is another difference between insects and arachnids. The arachnid, like the spider, does not go through the 4-stage life cycle. They do lay eggs like insects do, but when the eggs hatch, it's not larvae coming out. We don't have a caterpillar or a grub coming out. It looks just like a little spider. And they call the baby spiders spiderlings. Now on this page it says black widow males live less than 1 year. Females live 5 or more years. So the girls live longer than the boys. And if you look very carefully here on this widow, black widow, I don't know if you can see it with the camera, this black widow does have not only the red markings, but it has some white markings. That is a male, and he is stopping by the egg sac there to check on things. Black widows and people. Male black widows are not reported to have bitten people, but they certainly can. Widows and all spiders kill insects, including many that we consider harmful, like fire ants. And like other spiders, widows help keep insect numbers in check. They do have an important job to do. The earth would be overrun with insects. We mentioned that yesterday if it weren't for the help of those spiders. Here's another good picture of the male black widow, the boy. You can really see the white markings as well as the red. It says the smaller male black widows are not often seen. Wow, thank you, Mr. Spider, for bringing this book for us. Fascinating information about black widows and really spiders in general. Yes, Mrs. Neve, it's true. Spiders do not have the 4-stage life cycle like insects. Right, they lay eggs, but then the eggs just hatch into little spiderlings. Right. Kind of like, a chicken. When the egg hatches, it just looks like a little chicken. And the same for a snake. Looks like a baby snake when it hatches from the egg. Very good. So the life cycle is another difference between your arachnids and your insects. Absolutely, Mrs. Neve. Hey, how about if we sing the Itsy Bitsy Arachnid? What a great idea. Okay, boys and girls, get your climbing fingers ready, right? And remember, we're going to use the term arachnid instead of spider, although a spider is certainly a scientific term, you could say. They are a member of the arachnid group. And we're also going to substitute the word evaporate for dries up, which is what evaporate means. So help me sing. Get your little spider ready to go. The itsy bitsy arachnid went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the arachnid out. Out came the sun and evaporated all the rain. And the itsy bitsy arachnid went up the spout again. Hey, give yourselves a big hand. Good job. Well, Mr. Spider, thanks to you again. Oh, my pleasure, Mrs. Neve. And boys and girls, thank you for being good listeners. And always remember, boys and girls, 2 + 6 = 8. Okay, very good. 2 + 6 = 8. See you later, boys and girls.